My friends, every morning, life gives us a brand new page, a fresh chapter to write. The way you begin your morning shapes not just your day, but your destiny. Think about it. If you wake up with a heavy heart, you carry that weight throughout the day. But if you wake up with gratitude, strength, and faith in God, your entire day transforms into a masterpiece of positivity. The difference between an ordinary day and a legendary day lies in how you begin. Today, I want to share with you how to start your morning like a legend, not by chasing the world, but by connecting deeply with yourself, with discipline, and with God's guidance. Remember, mornings are not just hours of the day, they are golden opportunities to build a life of meaning. When we open our eyes in the morning, the very first thought that crosses our mind sets the tone for everything that follows. Imagine for a moment if the first thing you think of is worry, stress, or complaints, how does your body feel? Instantly, your shoulders become heavy, your breath becomes shallow, and your heart beats faster. You haven't even stepped out of bed, but already your day is burdened. Now imagine the opposite scenario. You open your eyes and whisper softly, "Thank you, God, for this new day." Your mind relaxes, your heart fills with warmth, and your entire body responds with calmness. That one single thought becomes the seed of positivity that blossoms into everything you do. This is the power of gratitude, and this is why beginning your morning with thankfulness instead of complaints can transform your entire life. Gratitude is like sunshine for the soul. Just as the rising sun removes the darkness of the night, gratitude removes the heaviness of negative emotions. It doesn't mean you ignore your struggles or deny your challenges. It simply means you choose to acknowledge the blessings that are still present, no matter how small. Think of a glass of water. You can look at it and complain that it is half empty, or you can smile and say it is half full. The water doesn't change, but your perception does. Gratitude is not about changing your circumstances. It is about changing the way you see them. And once your vision changes, your life begins to shift. Consider a simple example. There are two people who both wake up early in the morning. The first one immediately thinks, "I wish I could sleep more. My life is so tiring. I have so many problems to face today." He drags himself out of bed with reluctance. His energy is low, his face is dull, and his mind is already prepared to complain throughout the day. The second person, though living in similar circumstances, opens his eyes and whispers, "Thank you, God, for another day. Thank you for this breath, for this roof over my head, for the strength to rise again." He smiles, takes a deep breath, and steps out of bed with lightness in his heart. He still faces challenges, but he faces them with a spirit that is unshaken. Who do you think will live a more fulfilling day? The answer is obvious. It is the one who starts with gratitude. Gratitude also has a ripple effect. When you begin your morning by being thankful, your words throughout the day become kinder, your actions become gentler, and your presence becomes more uplifting to others. Imagine entering your workplace or your home with a heart full of complaints. Your energy spreads like a cloud, making others feel heavy too. But if you walk in with gratitude, even small acts like smiling at someone or appreciating their effort bring light into their lives. Gratitude is contagious. When you practice it, others around you naturally feel inspired to practice it too. In daily life, we often overlook the simplest blessings. We take our health for granted until sickness arrives. We ignore the value of relationships until we lose them. We forget to appreciate food, water, shelter, and even the breath that sustains us until something shakes us awake. But gratitude allows us to celebrate these small gifts every single day. If you wake up and you can walk, breathe, and see, You already have more than millions of people who struggle for those very things. If you wake up and you have even one person who loves you, you are wealthier than many who feel alone. Gratitude transforms ordinary mornings into extraordinary ones because it reminds us that life itself is the greatest treasure. There's a beautiful practice you can try before leaving your bed. List 3 things you are thankful for. It could be as simple as, I am thankful for the fresh air I breathe, the comfort of this bed, and the opportunities of this new day. Over time, this habit reprograms your mind to look for blessings instead of problems. It trains your eyes to focus on what is present rather than what is missing. Slowly, you will notice your stress reducing, your joy increasing, and your relationships deepening, because a grateful heart cannot complain and appreciate at the same time. Gratitude also connects us deeply with God. When we thank Him for life's gifts, we acknowledge that nothing truly belongs to us. It is all given by His grace. This humility fills us with peace. Instead of demanding more, we begin to honor what we already have. Instead of asking, why don't I have this? We ask, how can I use what I have wisely today? That shift of perspective turns every day into an opportunity, every challenge into a lesson, and every success into a blessing to be shared. So, my dear friends, never underestimate the first thought of your morning. Choose to make it one of gratitude. Let your first breath carry thankfulness. Let your first smile carry appreciation. And let your first words honor the gift of life. When gratitude becomes the foundation of your morning, complaints have no place to enter. And when complaints disappear, peace and joy naturally take their place. This is how legends begin their day, not by focusing on what they lack, but by celebrating what they have. And once you begin with gratitude, every step you take throughout the day becomes a step of strength, faith, and fulfillment. When the world is still asleep and everything around you is calm, there is something incredibly powerful about sitting in silence. In those early moments of the morning, when the sun is just beginning to rise and the air feels fresh, silence becomes a gift. Yet, most people miss it. The very moment they open their eyes, they reach for their phones, scroll through messages, check the news, or dive into social media. Without realizing, they let the noise of the world rush into their minds before they even take their first step out of bed. But true strength, true clarity comes from choosing silence before the noise. Silence is not just the absence of sound. It is the presence of peace. It is in silence that our mind slows down and our heart speaks. Every day, our thoughts are like a river, constantly flowing and sometimes flooding with worries, plans, fears, and desires. If we do not pause to calm this river in the morning, we carry its turbulence throughout the day. But when we choose silence, we allow the water to settle and suddenly clarity appears. In still water, you can see your reflection. In a still mind, you can see your true self. Think of a person who begins the day in rush. They wake up to the sound of alarms, hurriedly scroll through notifications, worry about deadlines, and rush into the day without a single moment of stillness. By the time they reach work, their mind is already restless. Small problems feel bigger, conversations feel heavier, and their patience is thin. On the other hand, imagine someone who begins their day with silence. They sit by their window or on their mat, close their eyes, and breathe deeply for a few minutes. They listen to the quietness around them, perhaps the gentle chirping of birds, or the rhythm of their own heartbeat. By the time they step into the world, their mind is calm and centered. Challenges may come, but they are faced with composure. That is the difference silence makes. It doesn't remove the problems, but it strengthens us to deal with them wisely. Silence is also the space where we can connect with God most deeply. When we are surrounded by constant noise, His voice is drowned out by the world. But in the stillness of the morning, when distractions are few, His guidance becomes clear. Many people say they do not know what direction to take in life, but the truth is, answers are often hidden under layers of noise. If we simply sit in silence, surrender our restless thoughts, and listen with our heart, we will find that God has been whispering to us all along. Silence is not empty. It is filled with answers, filled with wisdom, filled with the presence of the divine. There is a beautiful example from daily life that illustrates this. Imagine a pond. If you throw stones into it constantly, the water will always be disturbed, rippling, and restless. But if you stop throwing stones, the surface eventually becomes still, and you can see clearly into the depths. Our minds are the same. The endless stones of notifications, news, and chatter keep us unsettled. But when we stop and allow silence, our inner depth is revealed. In those depths lies creativity, solutions, and peace. Many of the world's greatest thinkers, artists, and leaders have admitted that their best ideas came not during times of activity, but in moments of silence and stillness. In daily life, we all have moments where silence could save us from regret. For instance, when someone speaks harshly to us, our first instinct is to respond instantly, often with anger. But if we train ourselves in the morning to embrace silence, we develop the strength to pause. That pause allows us to respond thoughtfully instead of reacting emotionally. In relationships, this pause can save bonds. In the workplace, this pause can prevent mistakes. In personal growth, this pause can lead us to wiser choices. Silence, therefore, is not weakness. It is one of the greatest strengths a person can have. Making silence part of your morning routine does not require hours. Even 5 minutes can make a difference. Sit quietly, close your eyes, breathe, and simply allow yourself to be. Do not chase thoughts. Do not run after plans. Just let the mind settle. If thoughts come, watch them like clouds drifting across the sky, but don't hold on to them. The more you practice this, the more your mornings will feel like a sanctuary instead of a battlefield. When silence becomes your habit, you carry it within you wherever you go. Even in the busiest moments of the day, you can return to that inner calm. You may be surrounded by chaos, but inside you remain peaceful. That inner silence becomes your anchor, keeping you steady no matter how strong the storms of life may be. So, my friends, learn to value the silence of the morning. Do not rush to fill it with noise, because once it is gone, the day takes over and you lose that sacred moment. Instead, claim it, treasure it, and allow it to shape your mind and spirit. Begin your day in silence, and you will find that your words carry more wisdom, your actions carry more strength, and your presence carries more peace. Silence before the noise is not just a practice, it is a way to build a life of balance, clarity, and spiritual depth. And when you master the art of beginning your morning in silence, you will discover that you are no longer running through life, you are flowing through it with grace. The first thing most people do when they wake up is think about food for the body. They head to the kitchen, make tea, coffee, or breakfast, and quickly satisfy their hunger. While that is important, very few realize that the mind, just like the body, also needs nourishment. In fact, what you feed your mind early in the morning is far more powerful than what you feed your stomach, because while food gives you energy for a few hours, thoughts give you direction for the entire day. If the first meal for your stomach is breakfast, then the first meal for your mind is wisdom, reflection, and positivity. And if we miss this, we often end up starving the mind while overfeeding the body. Think about it. If the first thing you put into your mind in the morning is negativity, complaints, gossip, disturbing news, or endless scrolling through social media, what happens? Your thoughts become scattered. You start comparing yourself with others. You carry anxiety before the day has even started. And once that energy takes root, it is difficult to shake it off. But if instead you wake up and feed your mind with words of wisdom, with gratitude, with inspiring thoughts, your mind becomes strong, centered, and ready to face whatever comes. The body may be strong from food, but it is the mind that decides how you use that strength. Imagine two people. The first wakes up and immediately scrolls through social media. He sees pictures of friends traveling, colleagues achieving, strangers living seemingly better lives. Before even brushing his teeth, he already feels inadequate, as if he is behind in life. The second person wakes up and takes 10 minutes to read something uplifting, maybe a passage from a spiritual book, a piece of poetry, or even a journal of gratitude. He feeds his mind with hope, with direction, with meaning. One begins the day feeling empty, the other begins the day feeling full. Both had the same 24 hours, but the quality of their day will be very different because of what they chose to feed their mind. It is said, your mind is like a garden. What you plant in it will grow. If in the morning you plant seeds of negativity, complaints, and fear, those weeds will spread all day long. But if you plant seeds of positivity, wisdom, and gratitude, you will harvest peace, focus, and joy. Just as a farmer carefully chooses what seeds to sow, we too must carefully choose what thoughts we sow in our mind, especially in the sacred hours of the morning. Even in daily life, you can observe how this works. Suppose a student wakes up and starts the day with a few minutes of study, reviewing concepts, or reading something inspiring. Their mind becomes sharp and disciplined. Throughout the day, they carry confidence into their classes. Now, compare this with another student who begins the day with aimless scrolling or negativity. They go to class distracted, their mind restless, and they struggle to focus. The difference was not intelligence. The difference was how they fed their mind in the morning. Another example can be seen in relationships. If you start your morning by reflecting on love, kindness, and understanding, then when small disagreements happen later in the day, you handle them with patience. But if you begin your morning by absorbing negativity or irritations, even small conflicts explode into arguments. The way we treat people is often a reflection of what we carry inside us, and what we carry inside us depends largely on how we start our mornings. Feeding your mind does not mean you need to spend hours. Even 5 or 10 minutes are enough to shift your state of mind. You could read a page from a book of wisdom, listen to a short motivational talk, write down 3 positive affirmations, or simply sit and repeat to yourself, today I will be calm. Today I will be kind. Today I will be grateful. These small practices act like food for the soul. Just as one glass of water refreshes the body, one thought of gratitude refreshes the mind. There is also a deeper spiritual layer. When you feed your mind with wisdom first, you remind yourself that you are not just a body living in this world. You are a soul, a child of God on a journey of growth. This realization gives meaning to your day. Instead of rushing into tasks like a machine, you carry a sense of purpose. Work becomes service, relationships become opportunities for love, and challenges become chances to learn. A mind fed with wisdom in the morning sees everything differently. Think of it like this: the body without breakfast may feel weak, but the mind without inspiration feels lost. And a lost mind is far more dangerous than a hungry stomach. That is why successful people, spiritual leaders, and those who live peaceful lives all share one habit. They feed their minds first. They guard the first hour of their morning carefully, ensuring that no negativity enters. That first hour becomes the foundation for the entire day. So, my friends, ask yourself tomorrow morning, what will I feed my mind today? Will it be complaints, gossip, and distractions, or will it be gratitude, wisdom, and strength? The choice is always yours. And remember, the mind is hungry every morning. If you don't feed it with positivity, it will feed itself on whatever noise the world offers. But if you take charge, even a few words of wisdom can light up your entire day. And once your mind is well fed, your actions, your relationships, and your spirit all shine brighter. That is how legends begin their mornings, not just by filling their stomachs, but by first filling their minds with light. The body is a sacred gift, a vehicle that carries us through every single moment of life. Yet, many of us wake up each morning and neglect this gift. We wake up and immediately sit on the bed, on a chair, in the car, at the desk, and we forget to move. Slowly, our body becomes stiff, our energy becomes stagnant, and our spirit feels heavy. But when you begin your morning by moving your body, you awaken not only your muscles, but also your mind and your soul. Movement is not just about exercise. It is about shifting your energy, awakening your spirit, and preparing yourself to live with vitality. Think for a moment, when a river stops flowing, what happens? The water becomes stagnant, dirty, and lifeless. But when the river flows, it stays fresh, vibrant, and full of energy. The human body works in the same way. When we don't move, energy inside us gets blocked. We feel tired, unmotivated, and sometimes even sad without knowing why. But when we move, whether it's stretching, walking, running, or dancing, we create flow. That flow brings clarity, enthusiasm, and strength into everything we do. Imagine two people starting their day. The first wakes up late, rushes to get ready, skips movement, and goes straight into work or school. By mid-morning, they already feel drained, yawning, and dragging themselves through tasks. Their mind feels foggy, and they struggle to focus. The second person, however, wakes up and spends just 15 or 20 minutes moving their body. It could be yoga, a brisk walk, or even simple stretches. Their blood circulates, their breathing deepens, and their energy rises. When they begin their day, their mind is sharper, their mood is brighter, and their spirit feels alive. Both have the same number of hours, but one feels like they are fighting the day, while the other flows through it with strength. The difference lies in movement. Movement also has a deep connection with emotions. Think about the last time you felt sad or anxious. Your body probably slouched, your shoulders dropped, and your breathing became shallow. Now think of a time when you were happy or excited. Your posture was open, your breathing fuller, your energy vibrant. This shows that body and mind are deeply connected. By moving your body in the morning, you send signals to your mind that you are alive, strong, and ready. It becomes nearly impossible to feel dull when your body is awake. In daily life, this is easy to see. Consider a person who feels frustrated at work. Instead of sitting in that frustration, if they take a few minutes to walk outside, stretch, or breathe deeply, their mood shifts almost instantly. Or think of someone who begins their morning with a quick jog. They may not solve all their problems during that run, but they carry into their day a sense of discipline, freshness, and confidence. This is why athletes, yogis, and even monks across the world emphasize the importance of moving the body. It is a way of respecting the life force within. Movement in the morning also teaches discipline. It requires you to rise above excuses and take responsibility for your energy. Often, the mind will say, "Stay in bed, it's too cold, it's too hard." But when you overcome that resistance, you start your day with victory. That victory is not just physical, it strengthens your willpower. If you can win against laziness in the morning, you are better prepared to win against bigger challenges throughout the day. Even spiritual traditions speak of the importance of movement. Breath, posture, and flow are seen as ways of balancing the inner self. When you stretch, bend, or move, you are not just exercising the body, you are aligning the mind, body, and soul. Every deep breath fills you with life energy, every stretch opens blockages, every movement awakens awareness. It is not about building muscles or chasing a perfect shape. It is about honoring the temple that carries your spirit. Let's take a very simple example. A person wakes up and does 10 minutes of mindful stretching. As they stretch, they breathe deeply, feel their body waking up, and thank God for the ability to move. They feel lighter, calmer, and more focused. That simple act of movement gives them a head start for the day. On the other hand, another person wakes up, skips movement, and drags themselves out of bed. By the time they reach their responsibilities, they are already exhausted. Which life would you prefer? The life of heaviness or the life of energy? The choice is in your morning movement. There's also a powerful truth here. When you move your body, you also move your mindset. Problems that seemed overwhelming suddenly look smaller. Stress that felt unbearable becomes manageable. New ideas begin to flow. This is why so many people say they get their best thoughts while walking or exercising. The body moves, the blood flows, the mind clears, and inspiration arrives. So, my friends, every morning you have a choice. You can either let your body remain stagnant, heavy, and tired, or you can move it, awaken it, and let energy flow through you. It doesn't matter whether you run, stretch, dance, or simply walk. What matters is that you move, because movement in the morning is not just about health. It is about starting your day with energy, strength, and clarity. And when you move your body, you are not only moving muscles, you are moving your energy, your mindset, and your entire life forward. Most people wake up in the morning and immediately begin to think about what they have to do: go to work, attend meetings, cook breakfast, drop the kids at school, complete tasks, or run errands. Their day becomes a checklist, a series of actions that must be completed. While schedules are important, they are not enough. A life driven only by schedules feels mechanical, like a machine ticking off boxes. What gives meaning to life is not the schedule, but the intention behind it. The truth is, you can do the same task in two completely different ways, one empty and one full of purpose. That difference comes from intention. When you set intentions in the morning, you give your day direction that goes beyond just finishing tasks. You decide not only what you will do, but how you will do it and why you are doing it. For example, making breakfast can be just another job on your list, or it can be an act of love for your family when your intention is to nourish them. Attending a meeting can feel like a burden, or it can be an opportunity to share your creativity and contribute when your intention is growth. The same action changes entirely depending on the intention you place behind it. Imagine two teachers. Both wake up, get ready, and head to school. The first thinks only about the tasks ahead, teaching lessons, checking papers, finishing on time. She does her job well, but feels tired and uninspired. The second wakes up and reminds herself of her intention, Today I want to inspire at least one child to believe in themselves. With that intention, every word she speaks, every smile she gives, carries energy. At the end of the day, she feels fulfilled because she didn't just complete tasks, she lived her purpose. Both taught the same subjects, but one taught with routine, while the other taught with meaning. This is the power of setting intentions. Schedules tell you what you need to do. Intentions remind you why you are doing it. And when you know your why, even the simplest tasks become sacred. Folding clothes becomes an act of gratitude for having enough to wear. Driving to work becomes an act of service, knowing you are using your skills to contribute. Every action, no matter how small, turns into a thread in the fabric of a meaningful life. In daily life, many of us rush without reflection. We are so caught up in the to-do list that we forget to create a to-be list. A to-do list says, I must complete these tasks. A to-be list says, I want to be patient, I want to be kind, I want to be grateful. Think about how powerful it would be to set just one clear intention each morning. For example, today I will be calm no matter what happens. Suddenly, traffic jams, delays, and arguments don't shake you the way they normally would, because your mind is anchored in calmness. Or imagine saying, today I will spread kindness wherever I go. Throughout the day, you naturally smile at strangers, help colleagues, and encourage loved ones. That one morning intention becomes a guiding light that shapes your words, your actions, and your energy. There is also a deeper wisdom in this. The universe responds to energy. When you set intentions, you align your energy with what you wish to create. If your intention is gratitude, you begin to notice blessings everywhere. If your intention is growth, challenges appear not as obstacles but as opportunities. When your mind is set with a strong intention, life begins to mirror that clarity back to you. People who live with clear intentions often seem luckier, happier, and more fulfilled, not because life is easier for them, but because they are guiding their life with purpose instead of drifting aimlessly. Consider this example. A young man goes to the gym. His schedule says he must exercise for an hour. He does it half-heartedly, checking the time every few minutes, waiting for it to end. Another man goes to the gym with an intention. I want to honor my body, to make it strong so I can serve better in life. He lifts the same weights, runs on the same treadmill, but with a completely different energy. For him, the gym is not just about fitness. It is about building discipline, respect, and gratitude for his body. The same activity, but one feels like a burden and the other feels like a blessing. When you set intentions every morning, you also protect yourself from being pulled in every direction by the world. Without intention, you may spend your day reacting to everything. Emails, messages, demands, and stress. By the end of the day, you feel drained, as if life controlled you instead of you controlling life. But with intention, you become the driver of your day. No matter what comes your way, you can anchor yourself in the purpose you set at the beginning. Think of a sailor on the sea. Without direction, the ship goes wherever the wind takes it, sometimes lost, sometimes broken. But with a compass, the sailor can use even the strongest winds to move towards the destination. Intention is that compass for life. It doesn't stop the winds of challenges, but it helps you navigate them. So tomorrow morning, don't just ask yourself, what do I need to do today? Ask instead, what do I want my energy to be today? What do I want to give to the world today? Even a single sentence of intention can shift everything. Write it down, say it aloud, or hold it in your heart. Throughout the day, return to it whenever you feel lost. That intention will guide you back to purpose. Schedules will always be part of life, but schedules without intention are like bodies without souls, moving but not alive. Intention breathes life into your actions. It transforms ordinary days into extraordinary ones, and simple tasks into meaningful contributions. Begin your morning by setting intentions, and you will find that life no longer feels like something you are rushing through. It feels like something you are consciously creating, one purposeful moment at a time.